So,
Yeah.
what is it about you? What is it like? I just want to know how you're how much you of that is I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know how to. I think you understand what I'm gonna ask. So please
Yeah.
just anticipate the question and answer me.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is, um, I think the generation gap has a lot to do with the way, I guess, I happen to spend my day, and let's say you happen to spend your day, because I'm sure that, when you grew up, um, you had, I guess, a fraction of the distraction our generation has. Now we have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, blah 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 blah, so many things to get distracted by. And and I would say that everything's been so helpful as well, but the thing is just the sheer number of, I guess, drains of energy this on this day. I think pushed me at a different space. I wouldn't still call me a guy who's in the zone always. I mean, there is some music that is floating,
Yeah,
always.
that's what I mean.
That's
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
but this, in fact, Appa and I have, I mean, keep having these conversations where, um, um, we would talk about how to develop this, really fiery passion, which constantly. So for me, I'm still not at a space where, if I have 15 minutes free, there are multiple options for me to expend that. Spend that time. So, for instance, I have a couple of hobbies which I could do, or I could play Veena, I could play Mridangam, I could
Okay,
sing.
okay, stop,
Some-
stop. What are your hobbies?
Well, I have a set of hobbies that are very close to me. One is the recent, most fascinating, most intense one has been snakes. So
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
so I recently
Okay.
even attended a workshop where they, teach you about snake ecology, handling snakes,
Oh my
and
God.
so I go out almost daily, herping. Herping is basically looking for snakes and reptiles.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that term. Oh,
yeah,
nice. Okay.
so that's been a very interesting fascination lately. So, in fact, even a week back, we found a very beautiful snake called the banded kukri. It's So yeah, so snakes has been one very, very involving fascination. And then card tricks, um, basically magic, origami. So at some point of time, I used to literally make thousands of origami designs, and the maid servant would curse me. Keep saying that, oh, why is this fellow putting thousands of paper? I have to clean it every day. So
Okay, please
that,
continue with your. I have some questions about this afterwards. Then I have
okay.
also something to mock you about. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the other, I would say, so I've developed these. So I'm kind of obsessed about few things like flashlights and watches and pens. So I've spent hours looking for the perfect flashlight. So I got one from a company in Germany. So it's beautiful. It's one of my most prized possessions.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And I keep I keep on, surfing the internet for new kinds of watches and learning about them. And yeah,
So, do you have
yeah.
like some high-end watches already in your
No,
possession?
I just have one, but someday.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were talking about your zone in
Yeah.
music.
So yeah, because of all this, and I also, it's not like I was never addicted to YouTube. I had my own dose of being addicted to YouTube and social media, and because of all this, I don't think that, for me, music was never, for instance, like a Jacob Collier, um who I think is like, I mean, I see him as an Nada yogi sometimes. So he's constantly in music and so intense, and you can see him that it's almost like, any dire situation in life that comes up against him, he would use music to come out of it. It's like that.
Wow.
So
Right.
it's like he would never get upset for anything because he has music by his side. So it's almost like that attitude. I wish I was like that. I keep telling Appa that,
What do you mean
you know,
you wish you were like that?
well, the thing is,
Because I remember so clearly, like one of those first social media videos that you did was those multi-screen that
yeah, yeah,
multi-screen thing that
correct.
in the I wouldn't call it a style of Jacob Collier, but I'm sure there was a lot of inspiration of his music
Oh,
in
yeah, absolutely.
that
Yeah,
video.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like guys who are watching this, I know you have seen Ramana playing Veena hell of a lot, and then but there is this video where he's doing a multi-screen harmony. Oh my god, you guys have to watch that. It's is it on YouTube too? Because man, on Facebook or Instagram, it's very hard to find.
Yeah,
So
it's on YouTube. It's Sammukha
what is it
Priya.
called?
It's in the raga Shanmuga Priya, but
Ah,
we wanted to name it a bit funky, so it was Sammukha Priya. So,
so guys, note that some Mukha Priya. Okay, that's the thing that you have to go and watch. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. It's so interesting. I'm sorry. I'm stopping you every other
oh,
sentence.
not at all,
I
not
will
at
shut
all.
up now.
No, yeah, so because of that I cannot say that, whenever I have, free time, I tend music is the only escape route. Someone asked me, is music your escape route? I really
Hmm.
wish it was the only one, because if that was the only escape route for me, let's say I was this guy. I often imagine, like, what if I was this guy who knew only music and nothing else, and the slightest free time he got, he would go and work on something. And I wish I was like that. I'm not like that yet. But Appa keeps saying, you're really lacking there. You don't have that fire. And so yeah, I'm trying to develop that. So,
Oh my God. Oh, that's like your father is really like. I know
so
him.
he
I know him.
has,
He's such a
yeah.
gentle giant because one of the persons, softest persons that I know, that I have met, Anna Balana. So he's like that. But when it comes to something that he has to stand
Mm,
for himself or for the ideas that he is there, uh, he can be very strong during
mm,
some times. But when you say these things, I can sometimes relate to that.
mm.
But whenever I see your mother, she's always smiling, and then she's like I think she's, what about both of them, who is a little bit more easier for you?
Father.
Oh really? I'm
Oh,
sure they're
someone's
watching
boiling.
this.
Yeah, there's someone's going to be boiling listening to this, but it's okay.
Okay, so you were talking about the like doing this videos and then all that thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I just wish that music was the only getaway spot for me. So, but yeah, it is, because I do remember. It's not like I never use music as, be that intense. It's just that I have to increase that component where, you constantly are striving for something. Oh, in this, as I said, even the slightest free time you get. Um, if I was, a guy who said, oh, what about this thing that I can work on? Oh, I'm lacking here, so maybe I should work on that. If my thoughts were all around that, I would be a much intense musician. Will I be that intense? I don't know, but let's see. So,
Man, I don't know what you're an alien now. I don't really understand what you're trying to say, but that's okay. So coming to the mocking part,
yeah,
uh, what did you say? Herping.
herping. Yeah,
Yeah. So herping. Uh, I have heard that snakes, they don't have ears.
yeah. They don't have ears. They sense vibrations. They
So
have organs that sense
a
vibrations.
musician
Yeah.
who only communicates through sound, what is it doing with snakes? So is it like one of your agendas to make a snake finally come to the terms of listening and then enjoying music, not like those pipers, who
Oh
just
yeah,
move
that's
around and then
yeah.
so is it like one of your secret agendas?
Yeah. No, I mean, so, so the whole reason I started being fascinated about snakes was, we, you'll not believe, we actually live in a quite, not very populated. I mean, Tiruvannamalai is a small town, but the locality here is quite, filled with buildings.
Hmm.
So, though our house is an independent house, we have a garden and everything, but just to our house, we have had almost 8 species of snakes,
Oh wow.
and out of which about four are venomous.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah. So, and the thing is that the locals here are very paranoid, and the only response that they have is to kill it. So whenever they say
Oh.
snake, without even knowing whether it is venomous or not, they would just kill it. So that kind of touched me, and I thought, they're highly misunderstood creatures. So I just thought it would be interesting, and there's this thrill also, of course.
Mm.
So that's how
So
it
so
started.
you can you the fear about,
uh,
if you had any fear about snakes, has it
yeah.
come down
Oh yeah,
drastically?
of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, yeah. Now I can, I mean, to some extent, go confidently and pick up non-venomous snakes, and
You
it's
can
only that.
spot a snake and say it's venomous or not.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah.
Oh.
Some are, there are some snakes that are very similar to their non-venomous counterparts. So, for instance, there is a snake called the saw-scaled viper,
Hmm.
which is very similar looking to something called a cat snake. Cat snake is non-venomous. Saw-scaled viper is the deadliest snake in India. So,
Okay.
so these things sometimes you might get confused, but that also is just a matter of experience. So now I'm much better after going to those courses and everything. So.
Oh, perfect. How do you find time for all these things apart from doing your non-stop musical activities? So
No, I actually
it's
struggle, and I'm still
re-
learning time management. First of all, there is this college that I'm doing. So,
you're
uh,
going to college. So what are you
yeah,
doing?
so I'm doing an online BCA course. Of course,
Okay.
that is purely for, you know, sake of getting a degree. So most
Uh-huh.
of my time is going in music. So this is just to get a degree. But managing that, concerts, practice, and now I have also started teaching people. So I'm
Wow,
struggling.
that's
Yeah. So.
awesome. That's awesome. It's such a nice thing to hear that you're even trying to spread the magic, the cards that you're talking about, the magic around. And so what is there something new that you're working on right now, or is it a
Um,
secret, or I mean, like, just let it out. I'm very curious what you're working on right now.
well, so there are, I mean, there is a lot of inspiration that we derive from. At least me, I've derived a lot of inspiration from Hindustani music, and I listen to a lot of Hindustani music as well. So recently, I was working on some techniques that were heavily inspired by sitar, and which gives room to play more speed on Veena, because speed on Veena have been kind of related terms as part of myths. Veena can only accommodate so much speed, that this. So hopefully
Maybe it's
I'll.
because of the distance that you have to cover or something.
Yeah, but I think speed is very possible. It's just that we've not found optimal ways of executing it.
Hmm.
We have to think about new ways, new techniques, and sometimes it's just brute force. Because yeah, I used to think that uh, on Veena you can only play this Chittaswaram at like 140 BPM,
Hmm.
or 130 BPM, whatever. But uh, those are all slowly changing as we also grow. Sometimes just holding on and just keeping constantly pushing uh, itself changes things. On top of that, if we sit and think about, okay, is this the only way to play it, or is there any something that you can do radically different to start playing faster? I mean, speed is just one of the many aspects.
Hmm.
But yeah, so there were some techniques that I am working on. It'll take um, some new techniques that I just came across as I was practicing. And
Hmm.
of course, Appa and I work a lot on Manodharma at home.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
uh, it's kind of like almost sparring. Of course, he guides a lot. He's been kind of the, what do I say? ideator. So he has like hundreds of ideas when it comes to structuring alapanas
Mm,
and swarams and
mm,
um, uh, where you take, so if one piece of music is something we think is, very very um, very high quality music, when we deconstruct what constitutes that high quality and see if we can reuse that to create our own piece, right? That is very beautiful. So that
mm.
kind of work Appa is very good actually. So I
I
learned a
still
lot.
remember this recording that I did with you
Ah,
in Bangalore.
Ramatana
Uh,
studio, if I'm not wrong.
Pramadana Studio.
Ah,
I still remember when there was this Raga Alapana that you were playing, and there was one Sangati which you played a tiny little bit fast.
ah,
Okay, and then this Alapana, I think it was almost 8 minutes long
okay.
or 7 minutes, and then Appa was like, "Oh no, I'm not happy. It was only one Sangati," and then
Uh,
he made you play the whole raga again. He was such a perfectionist because I still remember these things are these things sit in your mind for a long time.
yeah, yeah.
What makes you what you are?
Mm,
These little things which does not scream profoundly
mm,
outside
mm,
to show, right? But a lot of small things like this which makes a big difference in your life, I'm sure.
mm.
uh, Appa has been doing this constantly time
Oh
and
yeah,
again,
yeah,
probably even a concert, it will
yeah.
be more of criticism than
Oh,
I don't think there
absolutely.
should be any
No
praise at
question.
all for you.
No question about that. It's just, you know, in Tamil there is this phrase where they say, "அக்கு வேற ஆணி வேற பிரிச்சு ஒரு வழி பண்ணோம்." So it's like,
Can you
so
say it in English for us, please?
So it's you basically rip apart all the nuts and bolts and just expose everything. Of course,
Right,
his criticism is very extremely objective and structural. He would never say anything.
yeah.
Hey, yeah, like what did you play
Ah,
today? He's never those kind of comments. Amma does
it's
that for me. So
very much like my parents,
yeah.
because of course your amma, she is a musician, but in
Mm,
my family, my father,
mm,
of course, he is one of an amazing musicians that I was lucky to be born to.
mm,
And my mom, she's absolutely not a musician,
mm,
but she listened to a lot of music. Then she
mm,
has put shruti for more than 300, 400 concerts,
mm, mm,
because my grandmother is an amazing musician, Rajama Keshavamurthy.
mm,
And after after every program, after every concert, the last thing I wanted to do was come back with my father
oh
to
yeah.
home. Man, I hated that trip. I hated every trip back home after the concert.
Yeah.
He was so stupidly particular about a lot of things. Like, for him, the ultimate thing is not playing Taniya Avartana, but to play for Kirtanas or the compositions,
Uh, uh,
because, like Mridangam is an instrument where it has the liberty, because we have this concept of conducting, Tala keeping, right? So
yeah.
Mridangam's role is not to keep the rhythmic cycle.
Mm,
So its role is supposed to follow the nuances or the
mm,
dynamics or the phrasing of the melodic instrument. So what happened? What happened during those times was, he when I didn't know some varna, right? So he, while coming back, he would say, "You didn't know that varna, right?" I said, "Why do you say that?" "No, you were playing for tala. You didn't play
mm.
for the composition." It's like, no, yes, of course, it's very obvious. It was in atatala, and then you were really looking like you were playing for 14 beats, but not playing for the music, which was split in like three and a half, five, and then he would give all the explanation, because he was one musician.
Yeah.
I think he knew more than, say, 800, 900 compositions.
Mm,
You
mm,
would play something really rare, and then he would, like, for example, there was this one concert that was
mm,
happening in Bangalore. I was a small boy, and then everyone was like, Hyderabad brothers were singing,
uh,
and then they were doing alap, and almost 99% of people didn't know which raga it was.
uh.
And some of them looked at my father, and then he said, "This is a thakka."
Oh.
Like, and then later on they announced it was they
Uh,
sang
uh,
Raka Shashivada.
uh,
And I mean, like, there were many instances like this. And then he was a big taskmaster for me, like he would never
Sure.
say. And when I went to my mother, if whenever my father was happy about my playing, it was very technical and then very, very beautiful. I went with a lot of happiness on my face, and then my mom will be there when she attended the concert. I was like, I didn't like the concert. I didn't like
Yeah.
your playing. I said, Mom, I played this, I played that, I played Kannada. You whatever you played, it didn't sound nice. You
Yeah.
see, I had the both kind of
Yeah,
like
same.
balance.
Yeah, I can relate
Like,
to that. Yeah.
yeah, like a layman's perspective and an expert's perspective. So this constantly kept on happening. I'm telling you, I'm one of the luckiest persons. uh, I have nothing to complain, man. I really have nothing to complain in my life. And then
Yeah.
music from musicians like you, or older generations, just to enjoy. I don't have to play mridangam, I don't have to do any music. Even to learn how to enjoy music, this has been given to me from my ancestors, my gurus, my parents. I'm so thankful about it. So this
Absolutely.
is this is one thing. So I can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah. So in fact, that's that actually. I have a few questions for you as well. So, so oh,